Some of you guys who watch survival shows have god complexes, and just because you watch some of these survival shows, you think that you're experts in the music industry. Isn't it a miserable existence to just hate on groups nonstop?
I'm saying I don't wanna come down from your love. We'll get lost together, let me find. Don't ever let me come down from your love. From your love, from your baby.
Hey guys, it's Bree here. So it's been quite a while since I did a video where I give you guys my unpopular K-pop opinions. I did do a video about 9 months ago where I told you guys my brutally honest K-pop opinions, and that video surprisingly did really well, so I figured it was about time I do another similar video. I have reacted to your unpopular and spicy K-pop opinions recently. I've also reacted to some opinions from Reddit. For today's video, I was like, it's way overdue for me to give you guys my opinions, so like always, I hope you guys enjoy the video, but just a quick disclaimer, these are my unpopular opinions or my opinions for a reason. If you disagree, that's fine. Feel free to comment whether you agree or disagree in the comment section, but if I see any rude or hateful comments towards me, the artists I mention, or anyone else in the comment section, you will be blocked. Also, before we get into this video, if you haven't already, make sure to join my server, the Brioche Bun server. We have a lot of fun. We have about 1,800 members. We're quite chaotic, and if you want a fun, safe space to talk about K-pop with other K-pop fans, it's the place you want to be. So I will leave a link in the pinned comment. Feel free to join and engage with me and my subscribers. So my first unpopular K-pop opinion is about Nugu stans. Now, I think it is great if you support Nugu groups or groups that don't get as much attention as groups that come from big companies. For example, if you're not new to my channel, you've probably heard me talk about the boy group Ace and how much I love them and how much I think they're very underrated and deserve more attention. However, this unpopular opinion is more geared towards the Nugu stans who love Nugu groups but talk down about K-pop groups or K-pop artists from the big three or more popular companies. My point is, just because a group is a Nugu group doesn't automatically mean that their music is better than some of the music coming out of big three companies or bigger companies with more resources. I think sometimes Nugu groups put out great music, but let's not invalidate artists that come from bigger companies that also put out great music. For example, just because a song comes out of SM doesn't mean it's trash. Just because a song comes out of Hype does not mean it's trash. I guess I just have an issue with some Nugu stans who make standing Nugu groups their whole personality and kind of turn their nose up at anyone who says that they like artists from bigger companies. This isn't targeted towards all people who stan Nugu groups because there are a lot of Nugu stans who aren't like that, but there are some that I've noticed that almost have like a superiority complex because they stan Nugu groups, and I don't know, I just think it's kind of weird. Alright, so the next unpopular opinion is about BTS, and this is something I've been thinking about for a while, especially being that I just got back from Vegas. I did see BTS at their PTD on Stage tour. Had an amazing time, and I guess after seeing BTS, kind of reconnecting with their music, talking to some of my friends who are also ARMY, this is something that I've been kind of considering over the past few days, and that is that some K-pop fans do have a hate boner for BTS. I'm sorry, but some of y'all do. And hear me out, I'll explain exactly what I mean by that. I totally agree with K-pop stans or ARMY or even former fans of BTS who feel that some of BTS's recent releases haven't really been for them. I've seen a lot of people say that they don't like the English single trilogy, Dynamite, PTD, and Butter. I've even seen some people say that they weren't that crazy about the B album. That is also something that I totally get. I like a few songs from the B album, but it's definitely not my favorite release from BTS. And I do like Butter by BTS, but I'm not really crazy about PTD and Dynamite, so I do understand where a lot of people are coming from when they say that. But my point is, a lot of K-pop stans kind of seem to lead with the fact that they don't like BTS or they don't listen to BTS's music, and I kind of wonder why that is. Now, I understand there are probably levels to this. Maybe some K-pop fans feel that the artists they support are being cheated because they're not winning as many accolades as BTS are winning. Maybe they feel like no matter what, whenever BTS is nominated for an award, whether it's at Mama or whatever, if their favorite artist is going against BTS, they'll never win. And maybe they're thinking that a lot of these award shows are corrupt and it's more about popularity than quality. I do get that. I do get where those people are coming from. But at the end of the day, that's something that BTS can't really control. And I don't really like the narrative that BTS is 100% selling out just because they chose to release 3 English singles in the last couple years. They have released B, and actually when I was at the concert, they did announce they are coming out with a full-length album on June 10th of this year. It'll be called We Are Bulletproof, I believe, and to me, that kind of points to the fact that they might be kind of reconnecting with their roots, and it might be similar to some of their earlier albums that they've released. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Korean album. I would be pretty surprised if it wasn't. I guess what I'm saying is BTS has put out a lot of good albums since their debut, but I feel like a lot of people really disconnected from them because of their English singles that they released recently. I do get that because in a way, I do kind of feel like that as well. Despite the fact that BTS did release 3 English singles that a lot of people do not resonate with, I don't think that that's enough to justify some of the hate or some of the negativity I've seen thrown towards BTS recently. I think a lot of it is unwarranted. At the end of the day, the guys are doing what they do. They're putting out music. Just because they released 3 English singles that some people don't like shouldn't discredit all of the hard work that they've done in the years since their debut. I'm looking forward to the We Are Bulletproof album that will be coming out in June. I'm really excited to see what they release. And as a longtime fan of BTS that kind of became more of a casual listener in the past couple years, I'm excited and I'm hoping that I resonate with the new album as much as I've resonated with some of their previous albums. So the next unpopular opinion is about survival show watchers. I'm talking about the K-pop fans who watch Mnet shows like Kingdom Legendary War, Road to Kingdom, Girls Planet 999, Queendom 2, etc. Some of you guys who watch survival shows have god complexes, and just because you watch some of these survival shows, you think that you're experts in the music industry. I'll give you guys a very specific example. A couple weeks ago, I talked about Queendom 2 and I ranked the performances from the first round. Based on my personal opinion about how I perceived the performances, how I liked them, etc. I got so many entitled, nasty, rude comments just because of how I ranked the performances from that round. I got these people coming out of the woodworks telling me why the performance that I ranked number 2, which was Kepler by the way, wasn't that good. Basically, they were all just quoting and regurgitating what they heard on the show, what the experts on the show said. And that's fine, you know, I totally get that. Some of my viewers disagreed with my ranking and some of you guys were like very polite, really cool about it. Like I said, the god complex was really weird. I had people telling me that I should explain more about why I liked Kepler's performance, etc. when it wasn't even that deep. It was just that I liked it a lot more than some of the other performances. But I did notice that a lot of people who watch these survival shows, I'll see them on YouTube, Twitter, etc. They'll literally just regurgitate what the judges on the show said about performances or what the expert panels on the show said about the performances, and all of a sudden they're experts in the music industry. Their opinion is more valid than yours, and if you disagree or if you say something against the grain or say that you liked a performance that maybe the majority of the judges on the survival show didn't like, all of a sudden you're biased and your opinion doesn't matter and it's invalid and you should explain more. And I think that that's really weird. Some of you guys take these survival shows way too seriously just because your faves are competing, and you really can't handle any criticism or anyone thinking that your favorite group didn't do as well as you think they did. And I think a lot of you guys should maybe get some fresh air and remember that this is a competition, that everyone will have different opinions on the performances no matter what the judges or experts on the show say. Because we all have our own brains, we can all think for ourselves, and we all don't have to have the same exact opinions on how the performances should be ranked in these survival shows. Okay, rant's over. So my next opinion is actually about Jonghyun. If you guys are *szocial, fans of SHINee, if you're fans of Jonghyun, if you're a blinger, you guys probably know that Jonghyun's birthday was this month, April 8th. So I basically want to talk about some of the discourse surrounding Jonghyun, about his life, the way he passed away, and just how I see some K-pop fans interacting with discourse surrounding Jonghyun. This is coming from my personal opinion as someone who's kind of followed SHINee since the beginning, and Jonghyun was one of my first ultimate biases. So I see a lot of *szocials who keep Jonghyun's memory alive. They talk positively about him, they discuss his music, they talk about the things that he accomplished during his life. And I think that's very important. Even Minho himself said that he doesn't want people to forget about Jonghyun and his legacy. But then I see other K-pop fans, and these are mostly fans that I think are new to K-pop and don't really even have a connection to SHINee. Whenever they bring up Jonghyun's name, they automatically want to make it something sad and something tragic. I've heard some people say, oh, I don't listen to Jonghyun's music because his music is really sad. And this is actually something that I was kind of discussing with Jihoon's Carrot. If you haven't checked out her channel, please do. She's a longtime Shawol as well, and we actually had a Jonghyun night on my server on his birthday, and we kind of talked about him, his life, and just about how fans interact with topics about him. I really hate how some K-pop fans want to minimize Jonghyun to the tragic way that he passed away, and they kind of want to paint everything about Jonghyun in a very sad lens, even down to his music. If you know anything about Jonghyun's music, you know that it's not all sad. Yes, he has some ballads that might be melancholy, some love songs, etc. He has a bunch of really upbeat, fun songs. His discography is so diverse that I really hate it when people dumb down his music and say that it's all sad and they can't listen to it. I think honestly they haven't even tried to listen to his discography. He has a lot of great, happy, upbeat songs like Dress Up, Deja Vu, Crazy, Only One You Need, Cocktail. I could go on and on and on. This man's discography is so diverse, and I really think that some of the sadness I see with K-pop stans surrounding Jonghyun is really performative, and they really haven't taken the time to look into him as a person and look into his music and see what he was really about. I just wish that people would stop minimizing Jonghyun to this tragedy and really respect him as a person and really respect his legacy. If you want to always make the topic of Jonghyun a sad thing and make it something negative, I would just rather you not say anything at all, because I don't think that that's fair or respectful to him as a person, because he was so much more than the tragedy and how he passed away. He just had so much more to offer to the world, and I really wish people would see that.
So fancy, 3 a.m. coming and going.
Now, here's one that I think is unpopular, maybe it isn't. You guys can tell me what you think. 3rd and 2nd gen vocalists are winning. I think that they definitely surpass 4th gen vocalists. I'm not going to speak on 1st gen vocalists because that was kind of before I got into K-pop and I don't really listen to 1st gen music. There are a lot of incredible 3rd and 2nd gen vocalists that I can name off the top of my head. Kihyun from Monsta X, Jonghyun, Onu, and Taemin from SHINee, Chen Dio and Baekhyun from EXO, Vocal Line from VIX, Taeyeon from Girls' Generation, Park Bom from 21, Wendy from Red Velvet, Taeyong from Big Bang. I think that there are so many incredible 3rd and 2nd gen vocalists. There are so many that I can't name them all, but basically I think that with the shift to 4th gen, there's been less of an emphasis on strong K-pop vocalists, and I do think that that's kind of sad. I would say I could count more 2nd and 3rd gen K-pop vocalists that I view as extraordinary than I can in 4th gen. I'm not saying that there aren't any 4th gen vocalists, because there are a lot of 4th gen vocalists that I love. Just to name a few, I love Jongho from ATEEZ. I love Sangyeon and Chanhee from The Boys. So I'm not saying that there aren't any good 4th gen vocalists. I guess what I'm saying is I feel like during 3rd and 2nd gen, there was more of a focus on vocalists that had really good technique, that could really deliver, that could really sing live. I just feel like the bar was a little higher back then. And now with 4th gen, there is a focus on other things, not necessarily as much of a focus on vocal ability. Like I said, I'm not dogging 4th gen vocalists. I think there are a lot of great ones. But if I had to speak in general terms, I do think that 2nd and 3rd gen K-pop has a lot more of really outstanding, extraordinary vocalists. That's just my opinion, but if you disagree, you can leave your comments below.
So fancy, 3 a.m. coming and going.
Hey guys, this is COVID editing Bree here. As I was editing in this video, I realized that there was another opinion that I wanted to include, so I just wanted to pop in and talk about it really quickly. And that opinion is that some K-pop stans will never be satisfied. And the reason is that some of them just love to hate on idols. So whatever the issue is, they will keep moving the goalpost so that way they can enable themselves in being hateful and not being satisfied with K-pop idols. I'll give you an example. Won Young from IVE. For the longest time, people loved hating her. First, it was that she had an attitude problem, that she wasn't performing well as her other group members. Then when that didn't stick and when people realized that that wasn't the case, they started talking about her looks, talking about how she supposedly got plastic surgery, and they even took it as far as coming for her weight and her body. So as you can see, when the attitude allegations didn't stick, they found another problem or another reason to criticize her. And to be honest, I think a lot of people talking about her weight aren't even really concerned. They just want to have something negative to say. And at the end of the day, I really don't think any of us should be speculating or talking about idols' weights at all. It just isn't our place. And I think that that's kind of overstepping boundaries, but that's a topic for another time. Another example that I have off the top of my head is aespa. For the longest time, people have been complaining about aespa, saying that they don't sing live, criticizing them for not singing live when some of their choreo allegedly isn't that difficult, commenting that they have no stage presence. Well, aespa recently performed at Coachella, and guess what? The mics were on. I thought their stage presence was great, their performance was great, and you could tell that a lot of their fans were really hyped and happy to see them. I think they did a great job. People still found issue with that performance, criticizing them, saying that the crowd didn't care or wasn't that hype, saying that the performance was embarrassing or awkward, when at the end of the day, they did have a lot of fans there at the main stage that were happy and were thrilled to see them. The crowd looked pretty live to me. Of course, it's easy to edit and take out certain clips and make it seem like the crowd wasn't as live as they were, but overall, aespa is a K-pop group performing at a Western music festival in California. Of course, the crowd for them isn't going to be as hype as it would be for someone, for example, like Doja Cat or Harry Styles or something. It's not going to be the same energy, but that's kind of to be expected. Now, if aespa was performing at a K-pop festival or a K-pop show, that's a different story, but considering, I thought they did an amazing job. But it goes to show you, okay, so now that aespa is singing live, they made their US debut at a concert, you know, they have great stage presence, they sound amazing, they're doing their thing. Now live vocals and stage presence aren't the issue, it's that the crowd isn't as hype as they should be. So the point is, some K-pop fans, like I said, will never be satisfied. They'll continue to move the goalpost just so they can have negative things to say about idols and groups. And my question to people like that is, wouldn't it be easier to just move on and talk about a group that you love and that you like? Isn't it a miserable existence to just hate on groups nonstop? Now, I understand giving criticism, I think that's totally fine, but I definitely think that there's a clear difference between fans that do that do give valid criticism on groups, and those that just love to hate on certain groups and idols. It's just something that I've noticed, and I wanted to point it out because I think it's a really toxic part of the K-pop fandom.
So fancy, 3 a.m. coming and going.
So that's all that I have for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any unpopular opinions, like always, feel free to comment below. Also, let me know if you disagree or agree with any of my unpopular opinions. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Also, make sure to join my server. It's a great way to engage with myself and other K-pop fans. We have almost 1,800 members and we have a lot of fun. I will leave the link in the pinned comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!